Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. My name is Mobby, and I know this is not my usual type of video. I usually do gaming stuff, everything gaming, but today I wanted to try something different and review a show I've been watching and binging just to see, who out there would be interested in this type of content. So, this is my first video review of doing a real TV series. So, I'm just going to do screenshots today, and maybe later on I will experiment with video, but that's only because of copyright sort of scares. So just screenshots today. Let's get this thing going. So I binge watched the entirety of Better Call Saul season 1 through 5 in just a couple of days. I caught up. Season 2 is now doing weekly, and I want to talk about the first 2 episodes. Pretty much my thoughts, my opinion, and I just want to go from there. But quickly, it's a little weird if I just jump right into a season 6 series without giving my backstory on Breaking Bad and what I thought about the first couple of seasons. We're not going to go into every detail of all of that, but I want to just, give you a little bit more information, where the field is right now. So, binge watch Breaking Bad as well. That thing started in 2008 and ended 5 years later in 2013. It was 62 episodes. I did not watch that when it was currently airing. I did watch it later on. I think maybe 2 years later, 2015. I binge watched that as well. I remember watching that every single night on my laptop in my room. It was pretty cool. And definitely, though, my favorite character was Saul. He was just extremely charismatic, and I don't know, there's something about Bob Odenkirk's performance that is very top-notch, very believable. He's such a little loyal weasel in that show, but you're like, this guy's cool. Like, I want to just have a conversation with him. He's very cool. Let me also quickly bring up El Camino. This is the Breaking Bad movie-ish that followed Jesse. This came out 2019. I did not watch that yet. I think what I might be doing here is I want to wait until Better Call Saul is, all the way done. And then I'm going to rewatch Breaking Bad, and then I'll just do El Camino, and we'll do it like that in a nice little timeline. So yeah, Better Call Saul started in 2015, ending in 2022 in August, and will also be a very high total of 63 episodes. 62 is Breaking Bad. And yeah, I just caught up. It was just weird to jump in, so let's talk about seasons 1 through 5. I'm not going to be talking about every story point or anything like that, but I want to quick mention some of the main characters, what I think about them, etc. So let's first just start with Saul. First of all, I think it was a really good idea for a show. As mentioned before, he was my favorite character. It was really neat to see his backstory, learn his motivations on his life hustle, why he is how he is, his brother, his parents, and stuff like that. It's really nice seeing this character fleshed out. It really is good. I'm very... I was very surprised that he did take the name Saul extremely late in the seasons. It was cool to see, like, it started as a nickname. Like, he used it as his hustle name. And it was so cheesy when he's like, why Saul Goodman? Saul Goodman. Oh my god, it's so freaking cheesy. I told my fiance about that, and she just rolled her eyes like, okay, I guess that's why he changed his name. So it was cool to see that, like, his very... Like it's a slow progression into the Saul character from Jimmy McGill to Saul Goodman, but it was cool. Like, it made sense, and I'm glad we saw that. But I'm really, really extremely curious how it ends to see where his relationships are going to be ending up. At the beginning of every single season, 1 through 5 so far, it showed the very first episode. It showed a couple minutes of a cold opening, very black and white, of him on the run using a new identity. I think in Omaha, so a couple of states north from where he is in New Mexico. And I think I'm not 100%, but I think this was taking place after Breaking Bad. Like, he had to leave and make his own identity, right? I'm not 100%, but I'm sure they're going to explain exactly what specific this situation is. But yeah, he's running away. But yeah, some people actually do see him, and he's like, "Hey man, I noticed you even with that mustache. You're that Saul guy. Do the voice." And he's like, "Better Call Saul." So he's running away and doing all that stuff. Very interesting, very interesting. Okay, next character, Kim. At first, I did not like Kim. I'm like, whatever. She's just like, his girlfriend, balancing him out. But man, she really grew on me in the last couple of seasons. She is a really complex character if you sit down and think about it. She, at surface, she's like black and white. Yeah, I'm good. I'm trying to do good. She loves Jimmy, but here it is. She is like addicted, like dangerously addicted to him. And he's a bad boy in a sense, not like the traditional like, I'm gonna kick your ass bad boy, but like, I don't follow the rules. I'm gonna do whatever it takes, but I have a good heart. Sort of. That's how Jimmy is, and she really likes that. She slowly helps him do bad. It was really surprising to me at the beginning. It was very, it's very expected. Like, oh, he tells her like, oh yeah, I'm, forging something, and she's like, why? What? You cannot tell me. You cannot tell me ever, 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 ever. And then now she's like, yo, this cartel guy, get the hell out of my house. Jimmy does not lie. Get out. So it was like, whoa, to see her transformation from good all the way to not bad yet, but she's like really on that line, and she goes to the points where she tries to do really good, destroying her Mesa Verde, the bank, Mesa Verde, crap, her banking sort of job with the, Schwartz and all that with Coakley, just to do pro bono work, because in her eyes, she is changing the world. She is being good, but at the same time, she's like, the more I do bad, the more I have to do good. So something's gonna push, man. Something's gonna push, and with, a big surprise in the whole series so far is when she actually proposed to Jimmy, hey, let's get married. I want to learn everything that you're doing, but I also don't want to be forced to talk. So, I'm going to be good. We have to get married, etc. That was really surprising and cool that it went that way. So, yeah, cool character, really, really cool character. I'm interested to see her end. She overly compensates being good because Jimmy is bad. So yeah, what's gonna happen at the end of this? She's definitely not with Jimmy anymore, unless they really hide it during the Breaking Bad like segments, like, oh, he has a secret life, blah 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 blah. I'm gonna mention Chuck, I guess. I really tried to like him. His actor is cool. Really like his actor. I understand why he hates and jealous of Jimmy. They really go over him. I don't recall if they ever showed a specific example of him getting to the point where he had his condition where he thinks he is mentally, he's mentally ill and he does not like electromagnetic fields. I don't know if it was a gradual thing or if there was a specific situation that just turned it on. I don't remember if they ever did mention that. But yeah, I feel like that whole thing was taken way too much. Like, it was heightened way too much for a lot of story points. It was beaten over your head so many times. Hey, he doesn't like it. He doesn't like it. He doesn't like it. Yeah, we get it. It was overplayed for a lot of the story. I was kind of relieved that his character was somewhat killed off. He was definitely the weakest part of the whole series, in my opinion. And if I do have to say something about the first 3 seasons with Chuck, I would have to say that, seasons 4 through 5 really take off. The first 3 with Chuck, if you don't like him, it's gonna be really hard to get through that stuff. I tolerated it, but yeah, I can see people really dropping off Better Call Saul just because, man, are we gonna have to deal with Chuck for the whole season like this? It didn't work. It did not work. All right, next was Mike. Always a badass, really beloved. Everyone loves him on Breaking Bad. We already knew that he had a family. It was somewhat shown, especially in the final seasons of Breaking Bad, where he's with his granddaughter, at the swings, trying to get away. It was nice to see his personality fleshed out even more. He's a retired cop, father. His son was Maddie. Maddie was like the most perfect kid. He is now estranged somewhat. He's trying to build a relationship with his daughter-in-law and his granddaughter. It shows a lot of his personality. He had money, but he wanted more than that. He could have sat pretty laundering money in Gus's, business partners, but he actually, it was really cool. He got up, went to the buildings where he supposedly worked at under a security consultant and just decided to work there just because he wanted things to do. Not necessarily he wanted to do good, but he's all like, I gotta do something. It doesn't matter if it's too good or if it's too bad. I gotta do something. The money's rolling in, but man, I can still do some stuff, So he is on the whole show. He's on that line of being in the game, kind of not being, but he is really extremely reliable, a good guy. You do see his flaws, however, especially when people bring up Maddie, the granddaughter. That one scene where he yells at her, man, that was rough, but. Cool. Mike, I love Mike. It sucks how it ended up Breaking Bad now that we have more of a backstory for him. We see more of his character. He goes out like a chump in Breaking Bad. It's so sad, but, it is what it is. All right, Nacho. I want to talk about Nacho too, aka Ignacio. I believe he is a completely new character, right? I don't remember him in Breaking Bad at all. If anything, he might have been a quick character seen briefly, but I absolutely love this guy's character and his overall arc throughout the whole series so far. It's definitely somewhat simple. He's in the game. He starts very low. He wants to protect his family. He's a really good guy at heart, but he has no choice but to obey. It sucks because he talks to Don Eladio, and he's like, I want to be respected. I want to make my own choices. And you kind of feel like that's him actually saying that. But that's not what Don Eladio really wants to hear. But he's like, yeah, I want to be respected. I want to make my own choices, man. He doesn't necessarily say, I want to kill people, I want to do drugs, I want to have women, I want to have money. Be respected. Let's go. So, yeah, that's what he really wants. But the situation is extremely terrible for him. He is in a very, very bad situation when season 6 starts. So it's really hard to see where he's going to come out of there. And one more character, Gustavo Frank, really big guy, biggest baddie, in Breaking Bad. He has a lot of backstory in that series already, and here it shows a bit more. Nothing we really haven't seen before, which is surprising. He's a very, very good presence on screen in Better Call Saul every time he's on there. But it's nothing new. His partner died. He wants revenge. He's a baby face. But, it's cool to see his establishment grow. You see a couple of more, different cameos and stuff like that. There's a lot of minor characters, too, which I won't get into. You got like Howard, all of the other lawyers. It'll take forever. But I love some of the cameos, like Dean Norris coming back as Hank Schrader, and Gomi. Oh my god, he was so charismatic. I freaking love Hank. Okay, so now that the whole Breaking Bad opinion is out, the whole season 1 through 5 Better Call Saul opinion, where I stand on most of these characters. It's out of there. We can now talk about season 6. So I'm probably gonna make each of these episodes very shorter, especially because I'm doing a whole breakdown of the first couple of things, episode 1 and episode 2. Maybe next week I'll do a really, really shorter one. But here I want to. So how am I gonna set this up? I'm gonna give you a quick overview synopsis of each episode. I'm gonna give you my personal opinion. Remember, I'm just sharing it. I'm just sharing what I'm seeing. I don't look at the news. I don't read ahead on anything. Like if anyone has leaked anything, I'm just going episode after episode, and I would love to know what you guys think as well. So let's begin. Episode 1, Wine and Roses, came out April 18th, written by Peter Gould and directed by Michael Morris. Really quick, disappointing. I watched season 1 through 5 on Netflix. Really nice, quick and easy. No ads. I think they're adding ads soon. Netflix, you're falling apart. But then I had to watch everything else on AMC regular, which had a bunch of commercials in it. Oh, really ruined the experience. Okay, so it begins with a cold opening. It's not the black and white one where we've seen before, where he's in Omaha, Jimmy, and he's trying to escape anyone who might be following him. Here, it's showing, somewhat present day because there's color, somewhat, and showing his mansion. It's Jimmy's mansion because his name is all over it. JMM Saul everywhere. Oh, was there JMM anywhere? I don't even know. But yeah, you can see like the golden toilet, pictures of him, dude, all of the suits, the shoes. It's insane, man. And, Jimmy starts off as a somewhat of a lovable dickhead at the beginning of the series. It's really hard to see him go this route, spending all that money, going all crazy. It could be for a scam, or he really fell off the edge because something terrible happens at the end of the season, which is why he goes that route. Now, I might go back and look at the opening footage, but there was a sign at the outside of the mansion that said Saul Goodman and S&C. Was that Schwartzy and Coakley? I don't know if he partnered with anyone. I might have read that sign wrong. But yeah, the cold opening shows a lot of the people taking his stuff away, probably police evidence or something like that. And now it's all over. The last thing that happens in the cold opening is Kim's souvenir bottle stopper, where, that one night where he went to Giselle and he was Victor, and they, they scammed this guy out of a bunch of money for drinks. It fell out of one of the desks and then it just fell into the gutter, which is probably going to be a very good example of what happens. Maybe, everything's falling apart and she's just left behind, or worse, she might die. Who knows? Okay, so after the cold opening, it goes to Nacho currently hiding after being an accessory in attempt at Lalo's life. He was, after Gustavo told him, hey, leave the back door open. Well, not him specifically, but someone said leave the back door open at 3 a.m. Him talking to Lalo at the end of season 5. He's now on the run. And then it goes to Lalo. Oh my god, I have to quick talk about Lalo. His performance is really good. He's played by Tony Dalton. Actually, I do remember another performance recently that I saw him in. He was the mom's boyfriend in Hawkeye. That guy is very charismatic. His smile is just, damn, dude. He's gonna kill you, but he's a lovable personality. If you ever have the chance, go Google Tony Dalton and look without his mustache. Without or with, it's like two different people. He looks really good with the mustache. He should always keep it. But yeah, he played a somewhat of a faux bad guy in Hawkeye as well. But he's a cool character, just in terms of the way he's portrayed. Very professional, very good looks. It's great. Lalo, I like him a lot. So yeah, he kills a family. He kills a family which is kind of nearby his hacienda, and he used it to burn a body to fake his death because he doesn't want anyone to know he's alive. Okay, so it moves over to Jimmy and Kim. They really get into talking about destroying Howard, and this is all for the Sandpiper money. And it's really cool, man. All of the things in the past seasons, not everything gets brought up, but some stuff has a big payoff. Like, hey, the Sandpiper, this is a huge catalyst of at the beginning of the series, like, I want to make money. And now, wow, not only does Jimmy want to make this money, but Kim's like, we got to make this money. It could be just for the money, but we know it's not. We know that she just wants to do something really bad because she is addicted to Jimmy, right? So she extremely pushes it. She wants to do a lot of good. I mentioned it before. She has like, oh man, I got to do all this pro bono, but yeah, I want to be bad with Jimmy too. So she wants to have her cake and eat it too. So we can see her like true colors come out. She's getting a taste of being really, really terrible, but she likes it. Oh, Kim, no. All right, so what else happens? Let's see. So Jimmy gets confronted about Lalo as well, about the prosecutors who were absolutely trying to keep Lalo in custody. But yeah, he goes under another name I don't remember, and they're like, hey, that's not his name, his family, blah blah blah, his address doesn't exist. And then he's like, and then Jimmy's like, blah blah blah, Lalo, blah blah blah. They're like, who's Lalo? And I'm like, oh shit. And then Jimmy's like, well, I have a lot of clients, which is a good save. I have a lot of clients, I'll see you later. And then he just goes into a room and sits down in the complete silence. He knows he's kind of breaking, because, man, I didn't mention it, but yeah, it was really cool seeing in the last season where he tried to get all the $7 million for Lalo. And then he got like ambushed by the cartel, and the big shootout with Mike destroying them. Oh, that was such a good little scene there. That's a good little tiny, section where he tries to survive, why he's actually trying to, get back to Kim, why Mike's trying to get back to his family, and just seeing all that stuff. So it's very, very tense scene. Really good. Okay, next up, Nacho gets to the motel set up by Gus and crew. Okay, so only the lady who works there knows, and she is providing him food every single day. She gave him the key to go in there, has all the amenities at the motel room. He must stay put there for a couple of days. He was specifically instructed, hey, take the battery out, chill there, put it back in a couple of days. There's going to be a farmer truck. You just jump in really quick, etc. So he has to just stay put, and that's it. Lay the freak low. Okay, now it goes back to Jimmy and Kim start their plan against Howard. So what's their plan for getting them for Wanted King? So the reason why they want to get Howard like in big trouble is because if he looks bad, his partner, who's also working on the Sandpiper settlements, it looks bad, so they will want to close right away before money gets pulled and maybe it even falls apart. So they're like, hey, we don't want him to go to jail. Or maybe we just want people to pull out, make him not trust Howard anymore, so they can get the settlement, and Jimmy can get his 20% finder's fee, which is going to be, I think they calculated to like $2 million or something, which is nice, very nice. So they're like, hey, we got to start getting the idea into everyone's head, but make sure we don't get caught. That hey, maybe he does cocaine, so we can get him on a we can get him on a mistrial or for some other stuff. So how do they do it? Well, they start with going to the golf club where they're at with Howard and Clint, and they plant the baby powder in his locker, which they think it's going to be cocaine. So it's so funny. It was a really hilarious scene where Jimmy planted it in the locker and they come on in. He has to hide, so he he like goes one row away. He gets all naked and then he like covers his head, like pretending he just got out of the shower. And Howard sees him. It's so funny, but he doesn't know it's him because he's covered. So yeah, plan goes well. Clint sees it. Slow doubt in his mind. Next, Lalo is about to go to the U.S. He goes up to these guys trying to grab a ton of immigrants who's paying, I think they said millions of dollars, like $2 million to get in, and then we're going to convoy you through. I think it's very, it must be very reliable because it looks like there's a ton of people there. But before he goes, he phones Hector first, and he realizes, because Hector lets him know he needs evidence, aka Nacho, so he heads back. That is the end of episode 1 of season 6 of Better Call Saul. Overall, I think it's a really strong start. So the cold opening was very effective. Last season, it's the last season of the whole series, but they are still doing things consistent, which I very much like. The writing, the pacing, a lot of stuff is happening. It doesn't look like they have been influenced by any sort of like outside source. It's just like they're still doing their thing. This game has a lot. I'm a gaming channel. This show has a ton of, montages, and a lot of people might think like, hey, these montages are just filling up time. It's stupid. No, it gives you. It's like very good visuals at first, and it really makes you think. It makes you sit down, take everything that has happened, and just sit with it. So you, as a viewer, they don't specifically say everything out. They don't spell everything out. They do some stuff, but for the most part, it's up to you to be like, yeah, these characters are acting this way because of this, blah, blah, blah. And a lot of those moments where it's montage and music and just, people doing very menial things, especially with Mike, when he, tries to create new equipment, etc., when he's walking around, you're like, why is he doing this? What's the motivation? What's going to happen? It's a lot of thinking. So it's a show that it's long, it's like 40 minutes to an hour long per episode, and there's a lot of montages, but it's really smart TV, I believe. It's nice. Okay, let's move on to episode 2. This one is called Carrot and Stick. This one also came out April 18th. Writer is Thomas Schnautz and Ariel Levine, and it was directed by Vince Gilligan, the man himself who created Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. Now, the reason why we're doing episode 1 and 2 is because they both released on the same day, and this is just because, they usually do this for like season premieres. They go like, hey, you can have 2 or 3 episodes. Haha, now you have to wait every single week. And that's where we're at right now. So let's go over what happened and talk about what I think about it. So it starts with Mike and his crew, Gustavo's crew, going to Nacho's apartments. So what they're doing here is they send his hoes away who just chill there doing drugs and just living off his money. They don't seem to have a deep relationship. But they do kind of care, I think, because they don't want to leave the area. But Mike's like, you got to go, clean up, take this money, and get the hell out. So they're like, damn, I guess. So they're there to make sure nothing is incriminating to Gustavo himself. And then they also check out the safe. They find a fake ID for Nacho and his father, a ton of money. So they break in there. And now they have to get another safe to replace it and put all the money back. But without the dad's ID, just Nacho's fake Canadian ID and an envelope. And they don't show you what the envelope is just yet, I think. So, yeah, that's that. They want to make sure that, any of the cartel guys who check out Nacho's house, it does not go back to Gustavo and stuff. Next up, Jimmy meets with the Kettlemans. This is a return appearance from a season 1 stuck-up family now running I think it's a fast cash wire business. I was not expecting that. So as I mentioned before, it's nice that they bring back old characters and they bring back old story points to, to make the world feel alive here. It's really awesome. Jimmy fakes making up a proposition of getting their lives back by taking down Howard. Like, hey, you can claim ineffective counsel because he was he was a cocaine addict, and they can get their lives back. They decline, but they do take the bait of directly bringing this up to Clint's, which was what exactly Jimmy wanted. Next up, Gus and Balsa meet up with Hector. I think Balsa is Don Eladio's right-hand man. He's keeping track of everything north side of the border and stuff. So Balsa breaks the news. They sit down with Hector and they break the news. Gus realizes, though, through Victor's performance that Lalo is alive, and I have not mentioned Hector. Cool. Very interesting character as well in Breaking Bad. You only know him as, the old Salamanca elder sitting in the hospital. You don't know what the hell happened too much, why he's in this condition. You just simply think he's old. And I don't know, they might have left it at that, just he's old, etc. But now in Better Call Saul, they show him walking, being a little bit of a menace, and then they show, hey, Nacho kind of, I don't think poisoned him, but just mess with his heart pills, so when he does take his needed medication, it would not work, and he would just have a stroke. So yeah, he replaced it, and now he is in the nursing home, and he cannot speak. He had a stroke, and he could only ring a bell to, inform people his intentions. So, man, I think Hector did a really good job in the show with his performance, just with his facial expressions and the very limited amount of stuff he can do. He has that grinding of the teeth, the mouth thingy. You know what he's thinking. Sometimes he smiles. It was so funny when he was first in the stroke, and then he gets out of it, and then he's in the nurse's room, and then he knocks over the bottle so he can check out the nurse's ass. He's like, It's funny. Freaking Hector, man. So he's an asshole, but man, his performance, Gustavo knew. Why he's not sad. He is not sad. Shit, Lalo is most likely 100% alive. So yeah, after that happens, he lets everyone know. Balsa breaks into Nacho's apartments. He sees the fake ID and the newly placed offshore a bank account number envelope that was put there by Mike to sell once again the cartel and everyone that, hey, Nacho had the idea of an assassination attempt and run. Pretty much. Now it moves on to Nacho on the edge. He flees and he attacks and fights off the Salamanca cousins. So Gus had a man watching Nacho the whole time to make sure everything's going smooth. But now he has turned on Nacho and they want to sell him out to the cartel. That's just Gus's intentions, right? So they show up. Nacho fights them. He gets in a car. He shoots people out. The cousins show up and he tries to run him over, get out of there. But he ends up crashing and it leaves it at that. But you know that, the cousins specifically say, the Salamanca cousins, they say, hey, we want to take him alive. So we're definitely going to see what happens there. All right. Next up, it goes to Mike and Gus talk about Nacho. Mike wants to pull him out. Gus says no. Very tense scene. Tyrus even pulls out a freaking gun. But Mike was like, as I mentioned, Mike is the guy who is reliable. He's fair. And he, his loyalty. He's like, dude, this guy, because obviously Gus knows, I believe, how honorable maybe Nacho is. But he's like, I don't give a fuck. This is my revenge. I do not give a crap. And that's how you know Gus is pretty bad. But Mike's, man, I really hope he gets to redeem Nacho in somehow, some way. But yeah, he's like, we want to pull him out. I'm going to go myself. I'm going to pull him out, etc. Nacho calls and ends there. But Nacho got caught. So who knows? He could be calling for a lot of different reasons. Hostage stuff. It's a lot of wow, what's going to happen in episode 3. Okay, and the last thing to happen, Jimmy and Kim go back to the Kettlemans. So they want to keep the Kettlemans quiet with all the information. The information of the cocaine stuff came from Jimmy. They're like, hey, I'm going to bribe you with some money. Here you go. And then Betsy Kettleman's like, hey, no, the money ain't going to work. What else are you going to do? And then Kim's like, hey, I'm going to threaten to reveal your stupid fraud tax preparation scam you got running here. And then they have to shut their mouths and just go along with it. But what happens is they are now followed while they're leaving. Oh, very scary. I didn't get a good look at the car, but I don't think it's anything we know. I have a theory that maybe it could be the cartel guys kind of sneaking up on them, because maybe, I don't know. Okay, here's the deal. Lalo didn't say anything because he wants everyone to think he's dead. But the cartel guys, I think everyone knows that Jimmy was his lawyer, so maybe he had something to do with it, so they're going to be following him. There is 11 more episodes left, and I don't know, man. I feel like something's gonna really, really push Jimmy over the edge, and he's gonna go on a big binge. So I think Kim has to die. Unfortunately, she's not in Breaking Bad, and unless they somehow pull a really good writing rabbit out of the hat, where he is on the run after Omaha, and then he somehow meets up with Kim, and they live happily ever after. I think if they can pull it off and not look dumb, that's the ideal situation. I don't know how it's going to end, but I think either Kim's going to die or she goes away for a while and then they have a happily ever after. Okay, so the overview, another strong episode, specifically this. Really invested into Nacho's well-being. That guy's cool, man. He is screwed by literally everyone but Mike. He is on the Mexico border and no one is his friend. another good showing on Kim's character. She keeps pushing more and more bad behavior because of Jimmy, and Jimmy knows he's bad. He's like, you know what, we had a good ride. You know, he said it last season. He's like, hey, he was about to break things up. I feel like that was gonna happen. But that's when she proposed that, hey, let's just get married. Let's do it. I want you in my life. So it's a believable-ish relationship. But I don't think ever they ever say I love you, huh? At all. Maybe they're saving it for it could just be their thing and they're never gonna say it, or they could use it for a very heightened emotional moment where I love you and then she dies. Every time Kim does something really nice, I'm like, damn, they're exploring her character a lot. She's doing good, and in shows like this, that means something's gonna happen, because if you go by story sort of curve, it's like, hey, what's going on, blah blah blah, high point, and this is Kim's arc. She's doing good, she has everything she wants, boom, bad point. So something's gonna happen. Something is going to happen. She is addicted to Jimmy and is mudding her moral compass like nothing. All right, so I think that's it for what did I do? This was a long episode, and I apologize if you guys didn't want to watch all that. But if for those of you who got to the end, I think I'm gonna be doing an episode on every single episode. So episode 3 comes out, I think, every Monday. Every Monday today coming out, I'll watch it, I'll make notes, and then I'll come here and talk about it. It's probably going to be maybe 10 minutes a piece. This one was half an hour long because I talked about Breaking Bad a little bit, season 1 through 5 of the Better Call Saul characters, episode 1 and then episode 2. But I am very invested in the series. I really like it, and who knows if this gets picked up by some people who really want to enjoy it. I might do other series as well. But yeah, maybe some animes or some other shows I'm watching. But yeah, Better Call Saul, I think it's a good start for me to test out this new format. So once again, I'm going to be doing just screenshots. I do not want to do video just yet. Definitely no audio. But hope you guys enjoyed. If you do, leave a like. It helps a lot. If you haven't already, subscribe for more videos. Let me know what you guys think down below. Put a list of all the characters and what you think about them. I give you my opinions on Chuck. Maybe you guys extremely liked him. I don't know. Maybe you thought I should have brought up Howard even more, etc. So I would like to know. This is just going to be, a fun discussion thing. I want to know what's happening. What do you guys think? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.